When we say subject to, could you maybe take 1 to 2 minutes and just explain, just to make sure, I'm going to make sure that everybody's clear on what we are talking about when we say subject to.
Yes, absolutely. So subject to means that I'm going to go, actually the house I'm in right now, this house, every house I've bought for the last 7 years has been on subject to or seller finance. Okay. So guys, it's primarily a strategy to acquire properties and hold those properties without having to go get a loan, right? So let's say that I'm an investor and I go, man, I want to buy rental real estate or even a house to live in. But I don't have great enough credit. I don't have job history. I don't have a down payment. I don't have any of those things. Subject to is the strategy in which we take over the existing payments of somebody else's loan. So for example, I'll make it very simple. If you go to a website called leasetrader.com, they've been doing this with cars. They've been doing it with houses for a very, very long time. But if I go to leasetrader.com, I can go on LeaseTrader and just find somebody that doesn't want their lease on their Lamborghini or a lease on their Volkswagen or a lease on their Beamer. And I can just simply take over their lease without actually having to apply for that lease. Okay. So I can literally just take over that payment. That car is now mine to drive and mine to take advantage of and all that kind of stuff. With housing, it's the same thing. This house, for example, is a house that has the original owner, his name was Dave. Dave didn't have any equity, right? He owed $400,000 on a house that he could sell for $400,000. So how does Dave make money on selling this house? Well, he doesn't. In fact, he would have to write a check to get rid of this house based on selling the house with realtors and all that kind of stuff. So I went to Dave and I said, hey, Dave, I'll just take over your Wells Fargo payments. And I literally log in to Dave's Wells Fargo account and I pay Dave's Wells Fargo mortgage payment every single month. What I did though, is I transferred the ownership of the property to my name. So subject to means I own the property that somebody else's name is on the mortgage, right? It's very similar to if I go buy a car. Chris, have you ever bought a car where you got a cosigner? Or have you ever co-signed for somebody?
I have co-signed for someone, yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's very similar to that. Essentially, you go to get a car loan and the car dealership says, hey, I'm sorry, you don't have enough history or you don't have enough whatever. So we're going to need you to go get your dad or your mom or your whatever to co-sign for you to get this car. Now, Chris, if you co-signed for somebody else's car, does that make you the owner of that car?
Technically, no.
No, you just signed for the debt, right?
Right.
Who's the owner is the person who's driving the vehicle, right? And so it's the same thing in a house. Just because Dave's name is on the debt doesn't mean Dave's the owner anymore. Pace is the owner because I bought the house subject to. So what's the advantage of doing this? Well, the advantage is I can go buy as many houses as I want with very little money out of my pocket, if anything. And I can turn around and take this is a house that has a $1,900 payment. And if I put this on the rental market, I'd make about $3,300 a month in income. After paying expenses, I'd net about $1,000 a month on this house, a house I didn't use my credit, a house I didn't have any credentials for, so W-2 income or tax returns or, here's my bank statements. None of that is used when you buy a house subject to, none of it. So that's it. You're taking over somebody's existing debt, and essentially the seller who sold the house to you is co-signing for that house for you, so you don't have to actually go use your own credit to buy that property.